Joe, what is that behind us here?
That's the Carter House.
Okay, that's Carter House.
The famous Carter House.
The famous, okay, so it's famous. You got 20 seconds to tell me why people should care that that's the Carter House. Go.
I mean, not only is it a family's home back in 1830 to 1860, but it is also the center of the fighting here at the Battle of Franklin. It's a place that was used as the U.S. Army's headquarters the day of the battle and still bears the scars of, I think, one of the most incredible fights of the Western theater. I didn't even need 20 seconds.
19 seconds, well done, man, good. Okay, dude, if you could really quick before we bring Bailey back on, maybe summarize just what's it like here on November 30th in the late afternoon, right around here. Come on, like hit us with that.
So all throughout the morning of the 30th, federal troops have entrenched in this area. Across the road, Brigadier General Jacob Cox has put men into position. Right through here, Brigadier General Thomas Ruger's division deploys. We're in the area roughly occupied by Colonel Silas Strickland's brigade. And on the afternoon of the 30th, as General John Bell Hood's Confederate Army makes their approach from the south side of town, they come crashing through the earthworks right over there. And this whole section of the line, right in the center of the Carter property, breaks open for the Federals, and we become inundated in hand-to-hand combat all throughout this area. Moving back east and west of us, we've got Federal troops breaking off the line here from the 50th Ohio and 72nd Illinois. Right over here, kind of a desperate stand by soldiers of the 44th Missouri, just back over behind my shoulder, and they're on the reserve line, the retrenchment. The Federal troops here that afternoon, though, are commanded by Thomas Ruger. We may know him of Gettysburg fame. He was there fighting at Culp's Hill, and then, of course, makes his way out to the west. And here he is on the morning of the 30th, wearing a sash that my colleague Bailey Kuyat is holding just off screen. So Bailey's going to come on and show us the sash of General Thomas Ruger. So tell us, man, just a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, like Joseph mentioned, this is Thomas Ruger's sash. It is a crimson color sash with a braided tassel down, and of course I haven't removed it from its handling board because it was extremely hard to put on there, so we're going to leave that good work together. But Thomas Ruger, of course, was here during the battle, and Joseph already talked about him a little bit more, but he goes on to have a long military career as well, and we have some great photographs in our collection as well with him. But we acquired this item in 2015 through a purchase, and it has remained in our collection for a long time, and we have dearly loved it and hope to put it back on display very soon.
In the new Carter House Visitor Center.
In the new Carter House Visitor Center, absolutely. And we are so stoked that that's happening. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then keep in mind, too, when you come here and you take tours at Carter House, you're standing in the middle of where this item once was. You know, that's an amazing piece of how we're able to get these items on location.
And let me just say, I'm leaning into the mic. I'm usually not this close with Joe here, but, you know, so the sash, sometimes it denotes maybe who you are, what you're doing. Ruger's wearing this. I mean, this is a lot of flair. Is that what's up there?
It's a lot of flair. Brigadier General, right?
Brigadier General, yeah, absolutely. And we also have his sword in the collection, which is on display right now at Carnton for our 160th display. So if you guys are coming to visit the Battle of Franklin and you come to Carnton, we do have his sword on display right now.
And the section of the line that's being hit from Ruger's division is being struck by Major General John Calvin Brown's division. One of his brigade commanders, John Carpenter Carter, youngest brigadier general on the field that day, and carrying his pistols into combat. Actually, Carter would advance in the ground just behind where we're filming, right in my front, coming up through the orchard, fighting kind of tooth and nail to get up the earthworks here towards the guns of the 20th Ohio. But we've also just received, as a donation, his pistols, which were a gifted set.
I'm going to let you hold this, if you could. There we go, very gingerly. Now, of course, John Carpenter Carter's pistol set has come in this beautiful box, and as it reads on the inscription, for a Southern gentleman, Captain John C. Carter, all my love, Katie, December 25th, 1861. Now, there has been speculation after speculation about who Katie might be, because that's not his wife. And we can get into that at another time, but it is a
Let's just call her a friend, a family friend.
It is a family friend, absolutely. Oh. So, these are the set. This is a 1840s Colt revolver. As you can see, it's got the stagecoach hold up. I don't know if you can zoom in on that. It's got that stagecoach hold up inscription on it. And we also have a Derringer right here, a little pea shooter. And then we also have a powder flask, and then 2 bullet molds. This one's a dual, and this one's a single. And we also have a cap box right here as well. Now, this lovely piece was given to us by another collector earlier this year who has just thrilled our hearts and brought us a beautiful, beautiful artifact where we can talk about one of the youngest brigadier generals that was killed here at the Battle of Franklin. And Carter's story is absolutely phenomenal.
It's one of those kind of gut wrenchers. I mean,
Really
you get sucked in on like stories of Patrick Clayburn, right?
Yeah.
And you get kind of bogged down in some of the kind of fanboyisms that follow him around. I could see the comment section right now on this video.
You're in trouble, dude. There's a lot of Clayburn fans out
I
there.
actually see the
That's all
pitchforks coming. But like you get tied up with him and you
do.
forget that there's 5 other generals who are here. And I mean, what's just an incredible story about the last days of his life when
Absolutely.
Chaplain Quintard finds him and he says, you know, tell my wife I'm sorry. I never
Yeah,
meant to
he
leave
says-
so soon, you know.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. His last words were about his wife. He dies at Harrison House, which just sits south of Winstead Hill. It's privately owned residence today, so you can't go in it, but you can drive by it. It is a wonderful home to just try and see where you're at on the battlefield.
Yep. He's buried at Rose Hill
He
Cemetery
is
down in
buried at
Columbia.
Rose Hill Cemetery down in Columbia.
Why is this important? How does the stuff figure into the story?
Everything is tied to a human story, a human life. Everything that we have shown is been tied to whether it be life, death, but that's, I think, the most important thing about Franklin is it's a raw human story, and I think that's one of the most things that's super important about history is that it's just a human story, and it's
Yeah, I'd add to that too that there's a certain power in place, right?
Yeah.
We're standing on location with these items that were here, which I think it gives a whole other significance to the work that's been done to save this battlefield, certainly, and the work that's been done to curate a collection that has these items in it is to bring them back to the place where they were.
Let's leave it there. You know, one more reason to like or love the Battle of Franklin Trust and everything you've done here at Carnton and the Carter House. So if you've been here before, see it again for the first time because they're always doing cool new stuff and they're getting new things in the collection. The battlefield, I can't believe how much has been reclaimed here. So if you've never been, come. And if you have, come again. Check this place out. Lots to see here. I'm going to bring you right over here to the site of the cotton gin, the Carter cotton gin, and introduce you yet again to someone you've seen on our videos before. This is Joe Ricci. He's the historian at the Battle of Franklin Trust. Joe, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Gary. It's
Yeah, sorry,
a
go ahead.
pleasure to be here. And it's just, I mean, how awesome is it to be standing in the footprint of the Carter Cotton?
We're actually in it. If only we had an artifact. No, let me wait.
Right. Well, I might be able to help you with that.
All right, good.
Standing just off camera is our curator, Bailey Puyat. We are right in the middle of where the Carter Cotton Gin once stood. Massive kind of 3-story building, 4 ginning machines inside of it prior to the war. Here the day of the Battle of Franklin, guns from the 6th Ohio Battery just out that way, troops surrounding us in this area. This gin became such a focal point for the fighting. It shows up in all the pictures, shows up in all the accounts. And back in 2017, the foundation stones were revealed to show us in that archaeological dig where the gin once stood. And you can see the kind of ruins of it back here behind us. But one of the coolest pieces in the collection, certainly it's one of my favorite pieces, is a model of the cotton gin owned by a Carter descendant made out of pieces of the cotton gin. So Bailey's going to show us that really, I think, just an incredible artifact. So what I mean, Bailey, why do you like it so much? What's it about it for you?
I love it so much because one of the men who were here during the Battle of Franklin, Moscow Carter, who's one of the Carter boys, his granddaughter is the one who actually gave it to the Carter house. So, and it's, of course, as Joseph said, made of the wood from the cotton gin. And it's just a great piece. You know, soldiers who were here actually talked back to, you know, Moscow Carter Jr. and asked for pieces of the cotton gin to make gavels and canes, and it's just one of those great memorable pieces that we don't often think about, that wood is continuously used to hold those pieces in memories.
It's also super cool that it's not just another beam of the cotton gin. It's also much more mobile than the beams of the cotton gin.
Exactly.
So we've got the gin site here, and I think what's really great about it is we can bring a piece of the gin to the gin. We also have another artifact closely related to the gin.
Yeah, before we move on, I just want to say that, this is actually, these pieces were here at this spot during the battle. I just kind of can't get enough of that idea. What a cool piece, and what a cool use of it to be able to have it here at the Battle of Franklin Trust. Sorry, proceed.
Another piece of Battle of Franklin kind of memorabilia, if you would, is the Model 1864 Henry repeating rifle. We know that there are a couple of regiments of Federal soldiers who are here, who are equipped with them. Closest troops to us would have been right over here, just out of the shot, back off to the east of us, soldiers in Colonel John Casement's brigade. And of course, about 200 of those men armed with Henrys. Bailey, want to talk a little bit about just the piece itself and it's kind of how it got here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of our most recent acquisitions that we acquired earlier this year. We had a wonderful donor who reached out to us from Wisconsin, who's actually a huge supporter and member of the American Battlefield Trust as well. And he reached out, and he not only gave this piece, but another piece. He first loaned it to us and then decided, he loves what we do here in Franklin, and he wants these places to return back to the place where they were in 1864. So he gave us this piece as a donation, and we'll talk about the other piece later.
So the great thing I think about the repeater, right, is that it's believed to have been here. And if it's from where I think it was, it's probably right over there, day of the battle. So we're standing just a couple of feet away from where this repeating rifle was used.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let me come in here. You keep hanging on to this. I'm gonna gingerly grab this here. So first of all, I just want to say that when you have your own collection of artifacts, you can decide whether you wear gloves or not. I'm just trying to deal with the comments we're going to get. We can't win no matter what we do. The curator is responsible for what we're doing here. So, I want you, Joe, if I may, here we have a repeater. Man, is a repeater the same thing as a breech loader? Set them straight here.
No, it absolutely is not. So the Henry, of course, loading from the front, magazine internal here. As you remove the lever down, activate the lever, draws the next cartridge into the breech area here. When you pull the trigger, of course, then you just fire the next one on the lever. So totally different than, say, a breech loading rifle where you've got to put the round in through the rear, cock the hammer. None of that here. And just in terms of what this thing can do, you're talking 15 shots in a minute on a battlefield.
Yeah, so we're talking about a muzzleloader slower than a breech loader, but a breech loader is a lot slower than a Henry repeating rifle.
Hello, this is Trace Atkins. To stay up to date on all the latest and coolest videos, please subscribe to the Trust's YouTube channel. Preserve, educate, inspire.